What's going on, YouTube? So I've got a good informational video for you today. Today we're going to talk about layer shifting on a Creality, but specifically the issues that cause this will apply to pretty much any other printer or a lot of other printers. This was something that definitely had me fooled for a minute, but then I quickly figured out what it was. So when we look at these layer shifts, the presenting issue was this benchy here. I got sent this benchy from the client, or the client dropped off the printer and said, hey, I need you to fix this. This isn't working right. You know, the print doesn't look right. I'm getting these little layer shifts and everything. And I'm like, okay, so I just set up a basic stock file. So this is basic stock Cura, and this is what I'm getting. And I'm like, okay, well, that's even worse than what he's getting. I clearly got something wrong in my settings, so I slow it down, and I got that. And I'm like, okay, well, slowed down, it seemed to have worked a little bit better. So I made a taller one. I made a taller one over here, and I slowed this one down from that one. So we can see that a slowed version was fixing it. Fixing it was helping improve the print quality, but I knew that it wasn't speed is the issue. So the speed that we were running at was about, I think 80 millimeters a second, which a Creality should be able to do that just fine, and it shouldn't warp like that at 80 millimeters a second. So I'm like, okay, what is the issue here? Generally, the issue, and this is just basic rule of thumb, quick knowledge, when you see judders like this, especially kind of like back and forth a little bit, it's mechanical. So there's something mechanical wrong. This is not a setting in Cura or anything else like that. It is something that is mechanically jamming on your machine. So the first things that I check, obviously tension of belts. So you want to make sure your belts are tight. Obviously this was printed this way and the shift was happening this way, so it was happening on the X. It wasn't happening on the Y. And, you know, as I move this back and forth and jam it back and forth, I felt what I thought was just a little bit of looseness in one of the nuts here. So that's definitely one that you want to check. I thought I heard somebody at my front door. No, I didn't. Okay. So checking your belts and checking... anyway, sorry. Checking the what is this? Pulley, right? Or the geared pulley? Yeah. Checking both of these. So, did that, still had issues. And I'm like, okay, what could be causing this? And some of you might have already figured it out by now, but I did one simple change, because it's always something simple. It's literally, if you think you're having to do something complicated, or you need to, if it was printing okay and then it's not printing okay, it's not some crazy calibration. It's not your motherboard going out. It's not something in the firmware going wrong, rarely at least. It could have been maybe a motor going out. I thought it might have been that. But the one change I did is I took my filament out of the filament extruder. So not only did he have two little rollers here to try to keep this straight as it came down, and I took those off. I took those off at first thinking that that's what it was, but I felt like coming through here, it's literally sticking. Like I'm putting good effort into moving this, and it's not. It is binding up heavily in here, so it's quite literally, it's got to be chewing filament a little bit. But it was the filament runout sensor. The filament runout sensor caused all these layer shifts. So at the end of the day, there's not a ton of power that's running into this X and Y. It's enough to shake it back and forth. But if you stuck your hand in the way, if it's going back and forth and you just put your hand here and try to push against it, it's gonna skip. And that's what was happening. So as this thing is going this way and it pulls on it, it boom, couldn't go all the way, skipped. And then it's printing, and it goes this way, and then boom, pulls on it, skips. And that's why we have these layer skips that go back and forth. So it juts out a little bit, it comes back, it juts out a little bit, it comes back. It's because it was getting pulled like this both ways, and it was layer skipping both ways. So after I literally unhook it, we get a perfectly clean benchy. And actually, technically, this one came first. Which I could tell immediately that the bottom was completely clean, but it popped off the bed. I didn't have the bed fully leveled, so I reprinted this one. Bed's already cool, see, and it's not coming off. So I'll just leave it there for the client to see because we repaired this for him. But yeah, I mean, we can see that, you know, sometimes the problem is, I guess the moral of the story here is sometimes the problem is not what you'd expect. But summed up here, if you're having layer skips, most of the time it's mechanical. It's some type of mechanical issue on your printer. And, you know, especially if you change something. If it was printing like this, and then all of a sudden it's printing like that, maybe you changed 5 things. Maybe you went to a direct drive, and you added a new sensor, and you added these stabilization bars. It can be confusing on what changed to cause the issue. But that's the realm and the area that you want to look in. So if you're having layer skips, it could totally be something like this. Definitely always look at your pathing for your 3D print filament and make sure it's nice and smooth going down into it. Now I think what you probably could do to fix this, let's say you're absolutely confirmed you're going to run this with a filament runout sensor. It might not be this filament runout sensor, but you're going to get a different one. If you got one, and this one doesn't do it, but if you had one that a PTFE tube could sit inside of, which I do have some that do that, if you can sit the PTFE tube inside your filament runout sensor, then when the filament is going into it, it won't bind. So you need ample amount of room on either side of your filament runout sensor to not bind. And I've seen lots of other filament runout sensors on the inside, it's an actual roller wheel, and that wheel will roll on the filament. Something to do with this sensor, I'm not even sure what brand this is. It's probably Creality brand. But it jams. It jams up there. It's brand new. Literally that was just bought and installed on this printer, and the client told me so. So he literally bought a new part, put it on here, couldn't figure out how to make the printer work, and paid me to fix it. Now I hooked him up real good. He's been buying from me for a long time. So when I normally charge $60 to repair this printer, I charged him less than that, and he was real happy. But I didn't spend forever doing it. I literally was just like, okay, what's wrong with it? I leveled it. I did 4 little prints with my filament in this. I gave him a good price, which is, if you're in the business, you want to take care of your good customers, especially the people who come back and those are the type of people that'll tip you $10 when you ask for 20. So you walk away with a 50% tip, and those are the type of people that you want to have as good business people, or good clients, good customers. But yeah, guys, layer shifting on a Creality, especially a CR-10 Max or CR-10, look for odd issues like that. Check your belt, check your tension, check pulleys, and then look for stuff like that, like a runout sensor causing an issue. All right, thanks guys. Have a good day. If you run into any other issues like this, feel free to comment down below. Tell me what type of issues you're facing. If you want me to do a specific video, comment below. I most likely will do a video on it. I don't have a ton of comments, so your comment can matter and be quite literally the next subject of my next video. Like, share, subscribe. I really could use the support. This company is very small. It's me and Kristen over here, and we're the only people working this, and I'm not a crazy business person, so literally just the support on YouTube is all I have aside from my clients, and it means a lot to me. So y'all watching this and commenting and the interactivity on my YouTube page is it's interesting. Like, I never really thought about it actually being a community and thinking about it as a community. When I'm thinking community, I'm thinking the buildings and houses and people that are around my shop and around my house, and cities and stuff. And the fact that I can be getting kind words from people literally across an ocean is really cool. So and those type of comments and everything help drive me to keep doing this. So I appreciate literally every single comment, every like and subscription and share. And if you think this video is interesting and useful, share it on a Facebook group, share it on something else. Let other people see this and get this information into them, because I'm honestly a really small YouTube and would love to be able to help more people out in any way I can. So have a good day, guys. I appreciate y'all a lot, and let's keep melting some plastic.